Welcome to a video segment of the Albuquerque Police Department's 2011 Annual Report.
Welcome to APD 2011 Accomplishments. My name is Marc Adams. I am the Crime Lab Director for the Scientific Evidence Division. The division consists of 120 personnel, civilian, sworn, and volunteers within the division. We are a full-service crime lab, providing units in the areas of evidence, ID, major crime scene team, field investigators, crime scene specialists, firearms and tool mark unit, forensic photography, latent fingerprint identification, including forensic photography. Other units within the lab consists of serology, DNA unit. We also have here in the lab drug and alcohol analysis as a full-service crime lab. One of the accomplishments for 2011 was the crime lab acquiring ISO accreditation from American Society of Crime Lab Directors. At this point, my other executive staff will be discussing other accomplishments within the division.
I'm Dr. Furman Sizemore, Senior Forensic Scientist and Supervisor for the DNA and latent fingerprint sections. For DNA, due to the departure of several scientists, the unit was shorthanded for most of 2011. The unit still managed, however, to pass national and local audits required for lab accreditation. The unit also secured grant funding in order to utilize a DNA case-working vendor to outsource cases. At the time of this taping, the vendor has worked 60 high-profile cases, resulting in 12 CODIS hits. If not for the vendor, these cases would not have been worked due to lack of personnel. The DNA unit has made significant strides to fill vacant positions. As a unit, we are now functioning with 6 scientists and hoping to grow. This new year, the unit will utilize Quant Dual in order to help detect male DNA for cases. We expect a very productive year for 2012. For the latent fingerprint unit, the unit was instrumental in the apprehension and capture of Joseph Watts. While performing routine print identification procedures, Mr. Watts was found to have been involved in more than 20 burglaries in the city of Albuquerque. As a result, the information discovered was referred to the burglary unit and a criminal was removed from the street. The latent fingerprint unit was a former Team at the Bunt recipient, and this unit is probably in line for another award. So score 1 for the good guys, the latent fingerprint unit.
Hi there, my name is Brian McCutcheon. I'm a lieutenant with the Albuquerque Police Department. My current assignment is at the Metropolitan Forensic Science Center, or the Crime Lab as we call it. I'd like to talk to you about the accomplishments of 2011 for the major crime scene team. One of the major accomplishments we had out of the over 60 call-outs, 35 of which were homicide call-outs that we responded to. Secondary to that, we had multiple public functions and events that we actually participated in, demonstrating some more of the more scientific aspects of our job and the training that our folks have been put through. So everybody's seen the TV show CSI, and they're very, very interested in that. So we do what we can to facilitate that and to show the people what it is that we do. In addition, the victim advocates had a conference early part of the year. So we went ahead and put together a CSI experience, which actually involved putting together a crime scene. And so when you came in to tour the event, you actually got to see a crime scene prior to it being processed, and then after it was processed, and then you were presented with the evidence that was collected. As a result of this, they were able to hopefully choose who the bad guy was within this event, and then of course at the end, last day of the conference, that was given away, and some door prizes were received as a result if you had picked correctly. So once again, this is Brian McCutcheon, and thank you very much.
Hello, my name is John Kribsbach, and I'm the administrator for the New Mexico DNA Identification System Administrative Center here at the Albuquerque Police Crime Lab. The New Mexico DNA Identification System continues to operate the state's DNA database. In 2011, the NMDIS collected over 7,900 new felony arrestee and convicted offender samples, an increase of 39% over the 2010 rate of collection. The database now consists of over 71,000 searchable arrestee and offender DNA profiles, an increase of 14% from 2010. Over 3,400 crime scene profiles are also in the database, representing an increase of 20% over 2010. The NMDIS generated 211 state and national level offender and arrestee matches, an increase of 22%, resulting in 196 investigations being aided, an increase of 25% since 2010. Much of the increase in samples collected is due to the expansion of Katie's Law in July 2011 to include the collection of all felony arrestees. This expansion was completed and implemented by the NMDIS so that collections could begin as required by the expansion on July 1st, 2011.
Our Field Investigator Unit, which is comprised of both field investigators and the field evidence technicians, which are a civilian version of our field investigators, took over 10,000 fingerprints last year. And out of those, it's averaging just over 900 a month. And out of those, we had over 500 offenders identified through that. This year, 2011, would be the first year that our field investigating unit was primarily responsible for the burglaries in town. So they were responding as the primary officer. This assisted with the investigation because we now had a central hub that all the information was going to by utilizing our field investigators to do that. Prior to this, it was the field unit was dispatched out, and then a field investigating unit was sent to assist the field unit. This has changed, and we've seen a tremendous improvement in the arrests that have been identified because there's just a better quality of investigation just due to the centralizing of the information through the FIs. In addition, the field investigators participated in numerous public events, Cub Scout meetings, Boy Scout meetings, Girl Scouts, as many of those as we could get to make sure we're getting out and talking to the folks out in the city and making sure they know what it is we're doing and how we're doing it.
I'm Nicholas Dodge. I oversee law enforcement support operations involving criminal identification and evidence management. APD's efforts to enhance operational effectiveness through use of technology has paid off in a big way in evidence this year. Some of our bigger ticket items include 5,900 firearms were destroyed, 1,500 narcotics items were incinerated. We collected $49,000 from auction income. The ID unit responds to 2,200 suspect identification requests a year, and they have maintained a 5-minute response rate. They enter the same amount of data from those arrests into the criminal history database.
In our photography unit, I have 3 employees. Those 3 employees answer over 200 requests per month, resulting in over 800,000 photographs being produced, along with 3,000 CDs containing photos. Those be requested by the district attorney's office, public defender's office, officers necessary for prosecution of a case, and other various sundries. So in addition, there are photographers for special events around the city. The policeman's ball, graduating police academies, anything that is particular and special to the department or even to the city on occasion, they come out and they photograph all hours of the day and working on weekends. So, additionally, they are in charge of issuing of cameras to our field supervisors. They also train those field supervisors and make sure the equipment is up and running.
My name is Mike Haig. I'm the supervisor of the Physical Identification Unit in the Albuquerque Police Department's Crime Lab. Last year in 2011, the Physical Identification Unit accomplished the major forward-thinking task of submitting 1 article per scientist to a peer-reviewed scientific journal. Lab scientists researched and wrote about gunshot residues, rifling impressions, breath alcohol, synthetic cannabinoids, and bath salts. All scientists in the unit devoted extra time and energy to spread their wealth of knowledge to the forensic community as a whole. Specifically in the Firearm and Toolmark unit, we accomplished several goals. First, scientists working in the unit worked 101 cases covering 931 items of evidence. These same scientists and a technician entered 717 cartridge casings into the NIBIN database. The electronic ATF tracing program for firearms, known as eTrace, had 2,559 entries. Revisions and changes to gunshot residue detection procedures were carried out, enabling the examiners to more readily analyze clothing for trace nitrites, part of gunshot residue. This analysis is common in cases where close ranges are suspected in shooting scenarios. Additionally, the group began a 2-year project examining individual characteristics imparted to cartridge casings by over 1,250 different pistols. This study has the potential to be the largest such study in forensic firearms history. It will be published and presented upon completion to the forensic community. Members of this unit have also been making arrangements to locally host the International Conference of the Association and Firearm and Toolmark Examiners in 2013. This week-long forensic meeting is the premier venue for sharing information in this field. The Blood and Breath Alcohol unit made advancements in consistency, simplicity, and reliability in the area of the department's breath testing program by switching from older wet bath calibration check technology to newer, more reliable gas cylinder technology. This change has allowed the breath testing program to take on the important title of being NIST traceable with regard to these standards. The single scientist assigned to this unit analyzed 185 blood samples for ethanol concentration while maintaining 22 Intoxilizer 8000 instruments, which were used by the department to perform 3,965 breath tests. In the chemistry unit, while the state legislature debated issues regarding synthetic cannabinoids and bath salts, the chemistry unit evaluated testing methods for these dangerous substances. Additionally, they worked with the department's narcotics unit detectives to ensure that the valuable information was integrated with working plans of enforcement. The unit also assisted the narcotics detectives by demonstrating cooking methods of methamphetamine for a variety of undercover and investigative officers from around the nation. The unit's chemists will travel to the American Academy of Forensic Sciences Conference in February to participate in a specialized workshop regarding dangers, the analysis, etc. of synthetic cannabinoids and bath salts. This unit's 2 scientists analyzed 727 cases totaling 1,451 items of evidence.